Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri, and you're listening to the most horse-powerful podcast on the internet. It's the Xbox Drive. And for the final time, I'm on a Skype call with my very good friend, Ryan Turford, the meteorologist on the Moose. And join me, won't you, for our final ride together here on the Xbox Drive. Ball.
No power greater than X.
Hello, Sean Capri.
Cheers to you, Ryan Turford. Cheers to you. I've got a very special drink here just for you. A Diet Pepsi tonight.
Oh, excellent. I've got water in a Captain Marvel glass.
That's a great glass.
Yeah.
It's a very nice glass, my friend. Have you ever known something is coming for quite some time and then have it like not really hit you until the very moment that you hit record on a podcast, as example, like right now?
I mean, I've had that happen before, Sean. In fact, that kind of happened twice this week. Because like first, I got to be on the last show with Matt, and like that didn't really hit me until like I did the show with him, and then same thing tonight, man. Like I knew we were doing this. I mean, we've known from a couple months now that this was going to be a thing. But the fact that we got to the edge of the diving board, I was like, oh, I guess this is actually a thing now. I guess. This is the reality we're finally living in. We're in this timeline, Sean.
And we made it. Like this was our own doing. This wasn't like, well, actually, no, I blame Matt and Court. This is all their fault.
Fair enough.
Absolutely finger pointing. No, man, it's, I was about to start screaming like, that's stupid. Like I just, we've been doing this show for literally years and hundreds of episodes and celebrating milestones and bringing new people on. So it's a celebration.
Absolutely.
Which is it'll be a silly show, but
to be fair, just so people know, before we go into this, number one, there's like no news in Xbox land anyways. It's all rumors and stuff. But shout out to former Xbox Drive alumni Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, over there on that XEP, who actually got some scoops this week on his podcast when Steve Totillo was on there. So shout out to Luke. If you haven't listened to that show, go listen to it. Like a bunch of sites are reporting on stuff he had this week. So if you want to actually have Xbox news this week, go listen to XEP this week, I think. But
and you know what else? You know what else, Ryan Turford?
What's that?
Anybody who leaves the Xbox Drive, anybody who leaves the carpool gaming, whatever, you got Luke Lore to put up against, okay? Like, he sets the bar pretty high. If you're gonna leave, go do what Luke does. Otherwise, what are you doing with your life? This is how I cope, okay? I'm not doing so great with it.
It's all good.
Shout out to Luke, man. If you're gonna leave, go be the best in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Holy crap.
100%. Although, to be fair, and we should also clarify this, because we did actually have a little bit of confusion tonight when we were put up the question post. I'm not leaving carpool gaming.
Yeah, you're still here. You're not going far.
No, we made the announcement on Monday that I am leaving the Xbox Drive and moving over to the PlayStation Drive to kind of help usher in the new era of the PlayStation Drive.
Who is it? Who are you ushering in? Could be anyone. Good answer. Good. I mean, we are getting Sean,
who are you ushering in on the Xbox Drive? Who is it?
It could be anyone. It's just me. Actually, wouldn't that be like a nice kind of flipping surprise? Nobody's coming with me. Ryan's leaving. I'm doing the show by myself. And you know what? People are listening to this going like, I could see it. I could see him just going, there's been 3 co-hosts on this show already, Dave Moore, Luke Lore, and then you. And it's like, I'm done. I'm done bringing people onto the show. I'm doing it myself, damn it.
I mean, how many episodes, Sean? You joke about that, but how many episodes of Pants did you do by yourself for like an hour each week? Like that's basically the Xbox Drive by yourself, just not talking about Xbox, just talking about random stuff while listening to Mario Kart music.
Whatever I want to do, man. That's it. Yeah. Whatever keeps me happy. That's all that matters, right, Ryan?
Absolutely. So
it could be Phil Spencer.
It could be Phil Spencer. I mean, it could literally be anyone. Of course, we've already picked out the people. In fact, you'll find out about them on Monday, Sean, or Chunday, as some people.
I don't like that at all.
I don't either. But
I like Tuesday. I think I'm good. I can live with those.
Funny story, Sean. funny story to start things off. Since you brought up Tuesday, that is so ingrained in my brain that earlier this week, we got a hard drive full of footage at work from like a big long trip that like some of our camera people were on, and it was my job to kind of like organize the footage. So I was organizing all the stuff from shot on Tuesday.
Okay.
But like when I was documenting in my notes, in my brain, I wrote Tuesday
I like
on all the notes, and I got like an hour into it, and I was like, oh no, I wrote Tuesday on every single one of these, and now I have to go back and change this, or else my editor is going to kill me. So
Ralph Wiggum approves of this Tuesday. Now Chunday, Ryan, I'm not sure because I see Nagachaka in the chat saying Chunday spelt like Sunday, but I thought you might be talking about Monday.
That's what I meant, is Monday. So
well, we cannot have this. We cannot have Chunday because it's the first 2 days. Now, Ryan, when does the week? This is a very important question for you to finally put a bow on before you abandon the Xbox Drive. When does the week start? Is it Sunday or is it Monday?
I feel like I'm like, if you answer this wrong, you're on like the wrong side of the train tracks.
I do feel that
anymore.
Well, I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see what you say. But yes, there are two types of people.
I feel like the week starts on Monday, and
you're like my wife,
and like I only because like it's so ingrained in our brains, whether it's school, whether it's work, that everything in theory is supposed to start on Monday. So like that is just the thought process as to why I think the week starts on Monday.
Yep,
I can definitely see the argument for Sunday. Like I definitely
because that's what a calendar looks like. That's the argument.
Calendar definitely looks like.
Yes,
but not a work calendar doesn't look like that. A work calendar generally starts on Monday, which is bizarre.
So I thought this was just standard. I thought this was universal, that Sunday was the start because that's what a calendar looks like. But to your point, yes, work starts on Monday. And not only that, even more damning a case in this question that you knew we were going to be talking about ahead of tonight. It's called the weekend.
Yep.
What days are on it's Saturday, Sunday. And I say this as a proponent that Sunday is the start of the week. And I'm questioning I'm spiraling, Ryan Turford.
You're starting to learn from multiple people that, you know what, maybe it's okay to think that Monday's actually the start of the week.
It might be Monday.
Monday might be the start of the week. Why name it the weekend? Like Sunday is the end of the weekend.
I don't like this.
Which is the end of the week. So why would Sunday be the start of the week if it's part of the weekend?
It's weird. Yeah. No, I don't know if I like it, but leave your comments below.
or shout out to Fee in the chat who says Monday is the start of the week because it's called the weekend.
Why wouldn't I think of that? Why? Yeah. That's literally what I just said. I just said that.
I know, but you know what? I was just reading what the chat says.
Totally. Yeah. Way to point that one out. All on your own.
Exactly. No help.
What are we doing?
No help was required. Look, we're 8 minutes into the show. It's my final show, Sean. We could have a little bit of fun, especially because again, there's no news. We are going to talk about games though, because I have games to regale you with, Sean.
Oh, I have game to regale you with, Ryan.
I saw a certain screenshot in the Discord. Maybe I'll question you about that later. But, we'll talk about that in a little bit. What?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Do you want to just get the housekeeping out of the way? Clean the garage. Just get that out of the way.
Yeah. Just get this house clean.
Housekeeping.
Oh, nice.
Housekeeping. Sorry, that's a shout out to Nintendo Drive. So folks at home, if you want to support the show, there's a number of amazing ways you can do that. Number one, if you're watching the live stream right now over at youtube.com/carpoolgaming, or if you're watching the video on demand later, don't forget to check that like button, slightly tap that subscribe button because you want to tap it. Don't want to tap it too hard, Sean, because if you tap the subscribe button too hard, it might accidentally unsubscribe from the channel once you subscribe. You don't want to do that. Just don't tap it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, let us know in the comments below what you think about the games we're going to talk about today. Maybe a little Persona 3. Maybe we're going to talk about that. Maybe
don't tell us that. Tell us when the week starts.
Tell us when the week starts. Tell us when the week starts. Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.
So stupid.
Also, if you're listening on audio feeds, don't forget to, of course, rate us if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And also, maybe leave a nice Apple Podcast review. And, make sure to hit that subscribe button because it definitely helps along the way. Also, if you want one big podcast feed with the entire Carpool Gaming cinematic universe, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Carpool Gaming, just like Josh Coulter did. Hope I'm pronouncing Josh's last name correctly, who joined at the exclusive tier at the free trial level. So enjoy your free content, Josh. I hope you enjoy it. 4 straight hours of sweet hangs.
Yes.
That certainly a thing.
Enjoy the challenge. Ryan is very cordial about this, and then I come in with needless aggression where I say, good luck trying to get through all that content in 7 days. You can't do it. It's physically impossible unless you're a time traveler, in which case, tell me your secrets, Ryan. And Josh, tell me your secrets, please. I need to know.
I mean, to be fair, it'd be really tough to get through all of the exclusive content, even just within a week anyways. In fact, I'm recording the Pants Patreon podcast for Patrons podcast tomorrow morning, Sean, which will be up next week.
It's such a stupid name for the show. Like, it's actually it's a good show. People ask us all sorts of questions and people get to share their innermost thoughts. You know, it's a very deep podcast oftentimes, but it's just it's got my fingerprints all over it, Ryan. Just a silly name. Now, speaking of time travel, segue. My biggest regret now that you're leaving the show is I didn't play Terminator Resistance while you were on the show. So we will have to do a little something there. It is on the whiteboard. Terminator is on the whiteboard. It will be played at some point. Maybe it could be anything episode for us.
Sean, just twist my arm to make me come back. Just twist my arm to make me come back to do this show with you. Like, God forbid. Like you and I both know I am always available. You just have to call. You have to call me, okay? I'll come.
Okay. I literally don't know your phone number. That's weird.
You've texted me a bunch of times. You should have my phone number.
Well, I don't know it off the top of my head.
Well, I know that.
I know like two phone numbers off the top of my head.
I don't know phone numbers either, Sean. They're just in your phone. That's how.
What if I call you right now?
I mean, you could. It'd be weird, but you could.
Ryan Turford. Got it. Okay.
While you do that, of course, I want to remind people again. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the future of carpool gaming happening on Monday, and you better, of course, talk into this phone. I'm gonna stop. I don't want the audio to reverb and make me very sad. Editor Ryan very sad. But anyways, future of carpool gaming happening Monday. Sean, are we at liberty to reveal when the reveal is happening? Because I don't think we talked about that beforehand.
Yeah, we probably should.
Probably should
let people know to go over to Twitch at 10 a.m. Eastern time to find out what is going on around here.
Yeah. People keep speculating. Is anyone else leaving at this point? Is anyone else leaving the shows? No one else is leaving the show.
I am Iron Man
at this point. But we got a new Xbox Drive person.
You're so afraid to screw something up.
I'm towing the line pretty hard, Sean. I'm towing the line pretty hard.
The concentration is maximum right now. I appreciate it, right?
Look, I'm old. It's been a long day. I got it. I didn't even mention it yet. I'm actually in a good mood, Sean, because I got the final word today, because I mentioned this on the show before. I was looking for apartments for the longest time. I kept getting rejected, but I got an apartment today. It finally happened, Sean.
What's the rejection process? Like, who gets rejected? What do you don't have pets?
No, it's just that my job has fallen because of inflation. It's fallen below the average salary in the city.
Oh my God.
So as a result, it's been harder to find a place.
That's wild, man, because you don't make nothing. Like you do okay, like
I know, but I applied for like 20 to 30 apartments. And I finally got one to say yes.
Good.
And I had a great reference from my landlord too, which is awesome. So finally happened. I'm moving in 18 days, Sean. So this is going to get interesting. Because as you can see, there's still stuff here and I need to pack. So please be excited. But
I am.
Today's a day of celebration, Sean. Celebration of 4 amazing years of the Xbox Drive.
Crazy.
Celebration of the fact that I have a place to live.
Yes.
Celebration of us. And
wearing blue.
All kinds of great stuff. Wearing blue to celebrate, of course. Good God. And that's all the housekeeping, Sean. We should probably. I'm getting us out of this because we got to grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist. God, the show's a mess, but I love every bit of it. So, Sean, I want to talk about games. Because we can't do an episode of the Xbox Drive without talking about games.
Yes.
So I need to know, my friend, what game or games are you playing?
Before I talk about a game, Ryan, I want to let you know that I'm reading a comic called Skyward. It's on Image Comics. This is awesome. It's about the world losing gravity. And on one day called G-Day, kind of like Emergence Day in Gears of War, everybody just like floats away. until they finally figure out how to live on this earth. And maybe they can fix it, maybe they can't. It's amazing. And I just wanted to tell you that. Now, game that I'm playing was chosen because the San Francisco 49ers scored the most points in the NFL playoffs last weekend after I was not able to play the winning game from the WWE Royal Rumble, which of course was Space Marine 2, which I will have to buy later on this year. The saga continues. I'll have to. I get like, look, people need to listen to Sweet Hanks. There's a whole MCU kind of thing happening here. There's lots of lore. There's interconnected storylines and everything. I think we explained it last week. If not, we definitely did on the Nintendo Drive. Long story short, Alan Wake 2 is the game.
Yeah, boy.
that I'm playing. And I like maybe 40 minutes, not even. Okay. And I just because we have this big thing on Monday that we're telling a whole bunch of people about. We're making some last minute changes. And the amount of time that I had to play games was the half an hour, 40 minutes before the show. So I'm very, very, very early into Alan Wake. I'm playing on PC. And I'm happy to tell you, Ryan, pretty atmospheric, very cool. Sam Lake makes an appearance right at the start with this. Yep. What must be some sort of like cameo. I feel like his character is a goner. I feel like he's totally going to be dead, but we'll find out. I don't know. I'm not spoiling anything. I am welcomed into this game by a naked man's buttocks.
Yep.
So that's interesting. I did not expect that to happen.
I might because you posted the picture of it in the Discord.
Yeah, I got a good deal on the Epic Game Store over the holidays. This was one of the last games that I purchased in 2023. So here we are. I'm playing Whiteboard the game. I've always wanted to have a wall full of pictures and notes connected together with red yarn and push pins, Ryan.
Yep.
I've always wanted to do this. So that's where I'm at. I haven't solved there. I don't know if it's like you're investigating a murder to start is kind of where we're at. I haven't solved it yet, but it's kind of introducing the mechanics, kind of neat, quite different from the first Alan Wake, which I played the remaster just a number of months ago at this stage. Yep. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have anything really critical to say it other than I experienced my first PC bug already, Ryan.
Excellent.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that people even play on PC just nowadays, Sean, because of bugs.
I thought it got patched. I thought it got patched. I had tried to play it a little while back, and I didn't have a mouse cursor to select in the menu. Oh, so there's that. And then I was leaving my whiteboard of awesomeness, or the whiteboard of science, perhaps, if you like. And it sounded like I was back in the game, but I was trapped inside of a mountain, is what it looked like, Ryan.
Oh my God, Sean.
So it's all just because I had to come in and do the show.
That's so weird and kind of crazy. But I'm glad you're at least enjoying the parts of the game that you can play where you're not stuck in the mountain. I like the fact that you like the vibe. I know like the push pin stuff didn't really resonate with everybody. Yeah, I kind of like that stuff. I kind of like the idea of like organize the crime, because like the sections where you're doing that, you're not even playing as Alan. You're playing as a different character, and it fits with that character. So I like that idea of them doing something a little bit different. But yeah, I'm excited to see what you think when you get later on into the game, because there's some cool stuff that they do in that game.
Yeah, I want them to spook me out, Ryan. I want to be spoopy.
You'll get spooked.
Okay. All right. But, it definitely happens. I'll tell you about it next week.
Oh, sorry, Matt. Hey, you see this as if I'm not going to listen to the show.
That's true.
You and I both know that.
I almost said who I was going to talk to next week, dude.
You almost did, but that's why I stepped in and said something.
Myself.
Yeah. Maybe Garrett Bland. You're talking to Garrett Bland in the chat about Alan Wake Remaster. Maybe it's Garrett Bland. Who knows? Could be.
Did Kevin Ainsworth have a question? I know he played it. I watched him play it.
Kevin Ainsworth did have a question, but I think you answered it. So Kevin Ainsworth said, first off, Ryan, I will miss you on the Xbox Drive, and happy I was able to guest for a few episodes during your time on the show. Now my question is, Sean, have you started playing the San Francisco 49ers yet? By this, of course, I mean Alan Wake 2. And if you have, is it meeting your expectations after seeing and hearing so much critical acclaim? Pretty tough to answer this one after 40 minutes of playing, though, Sean.
Yeah, but I will say, like, it's tough to match anything that has the critical acclaim that I've heard from Alan Wake. It's almost impossible. So I kind of have to like get that out of my mind. What I'm going to be watching for, though, Ryan, whether or not this is interesting or not, is for whatever reason, I look at this game, I play it, I think about the critical acclaim, And I think about Hellblade for some reason.
Okay.
Like, it just seems like this game is punching above its weight, other than being trapped in a mountain and PC bugs and whatnot. But it looks great. Like, it looks really, really good. And obviously, it's nothing crazy as far as like combat goes or complicated systems, but it's an interesting kind of take. It's not just pick up a gun and shoot a bunch of bad guys. Like, and I don't need that. So I don't know why, but for whatever reason, like kind of in my head, it's kind of occupying the same space as a Hellblade 1, perhaps. Like,
okay.
Yeah, just years later.
Yeah, and I mean, you will get to combat eventually. So I mean, don't assume there's no combat in this game, because there's
Slappers
definitely
only.
combat. Well, maybe, but you might have access to some guns, maybe a flashlight.
It is America, of course.
But I mean, like, they didn't just ignore the combat part of Alan Wake, the original. So there is combat in this, but I'm interested to see what you think about the combat, especially now that you've played, games like Resident Evil and stuff like that, which is probably much closer to what the combat feels like in this game versus comparing it to the first game.
Got it.
The first game was like very, very different from a lot of other games that are out there. So
nice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But that'll be from the weeks to come. Again, I'm excited to tune in as a listener, Sean, and hear you like talk all about it, just like I do with Nintendo Drive. Every week on Nintendo Drive, I'm usually in the chat listening to you guys, and I will definitely be doing the same with Xbox Drive. In fact, generally, like, you guys might actually be, keeping me company while I'm at work when you guys record, which will be nice.
Very nice. Yeah, we should be earlier when I record all by myself.
Yeah, the times for a lot of these shows are going to change, and we will, of course, again, talk about it on Monday. But Sean, as for me, I played a whole bunch of games. In fact, one might say a cornucopia of games, but
like the Hunger Games.
Exactly. But I did, even though I played 3 different games here, Sean, I didn't put a ton of time into any of them. One, because one of them was actually very short, but 2, as I mentioned before, looking for apartments almost every single day this week, combined with all the stuff that we've got coming up, it's just like, and work, it's just, I haven't had a lot of time for games this week. So, but that'll change soon. After my move, I should have a lot more time to play stuff. But we got to start, Sean, with more Tekken 8. I'm still playing Tekken 8 from last week's show. I'm loving the story mode because of how like goofy and weird it is, how there's like, it's the end of the world, and the only thing that can stop the apocalypse, Sean, is a fighting tournament.
Fighting tournament, definitely.
Yep. It saves everyone. It saves lives. Fighting tournaments save lives. You can put that in the back of the box. Fighting tournaments save lives, Sean. That's what the story mode is all about in Tekken. It's so goofy and weird, and I kind of love how cheesy it is. So I've really been enjoying the story mode in Tekken. Again, like it should have been finished by now, but just haven't been able to put a ton of time into it. But then I played a little game that shadow dropped this week that didn't come to Xbox, which I've got to, do a little bit of gripe about here, Sean, because Konami, what the heck are you doing? You're bringing back all these franchises, and you're bringing them back across all the platforms, but for whatever reason, when you bring back Silent Hill, you only bring it back on PlayStation. Like, what's going on here? Like, don't get me wrong, I have a PlayStation and I can play it, but that's like, it's so weird that it isn't available on anything else. So this week we got the release of Silent Hill: The Short Message, which is like a 2-hour kind of free game that they basically just shadow dropped during the state of play. That basically is like the first brand new Silent Hill game that we've gotten since the PS Vita, Sean, was the last Silent Hill game, Silent Hill Book of Memories, which was like a top-down shooter, and it was really weird and not a great game. And I, as a big Silent Hill fan, was very excited about this game. And I know there's a lot of reviews out there that didn't really love this, but I'm in the camp where I actually really enjoyed this 2-hour short experience where you play as a high school girl, and she is, coping with a friend who committed suicide recently. And she's, trying to piece together, why she killed herself. And there's some really touching and tough subject matter in this experience, to the point where the game is very open with like splash screens at the beginning saying, just so you know, there's some really sensitive subject matter here. So just be aware, going into this, that this is a thing. But I really felt like they told a pretty powerful story. Like, it almost reminded me of the first like 2/3 of this game really felt to me like a Don't Nod game, but without the choice-based gameplay. Like you're exploring a bunch of different environments. You're getting a lot of these really interesting cutscenes with this high school drama, but also learning more about both this and also what happened in Silent Hill along the same lines. But then the last third of this experience is like goes full Silent Hill in all the best ways, where you're being chased by this monster. You learn some stuff that you maybe didn't want to learn, and I loved every minute of it. Yes, there is a little bit of trial and error with the monster chasing stuff, but otherwise, like, I had a really great time with this experience. And again, it's very short. It's 2 hours and it's free. So it is free on the PlayStation Store, and it just kills me, Sean. It kills me that this is not on Xbox, especially because Silent Hill has a pedigree on Xbox going all the way back to the original Xbox with Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 4. And the fact that we aren't really seeing Silent Hill's return on Xbox kind of bums me out a little bit, because I'm the type of person that wants to see, these old franchises come back everywhere. Kind of like what Square's doing with, Visions of Mana, or even their Final Fantasy stuff. Like, I want to see more of that. And it just kind of bums me out a little bit. But I did really enjoy it, and I did want to at least mention this.
It's kind of like you. Just ending up on the PlayStation.
I mean,
show.
You say this, but again, you have my phone number, Sean. You just call me.
I'm just messing. No, that sounds cool, man. The 2 hour freebie, and I want to hear that it goes full Silent Hill at the end. Yes.
Yeah. And not only that too, the music is done by the Silent Hill composer, and it's awesome. I'm like waiting for them to drop the soundtrack on Spotify, because he goes like full ham with the soundtrack. It is really, really good. And again, it's just very reminiscent of all of the music I love from Silent Hill on the older games. So I am really excited about where Silent Hill's going. Again, I only wish it was on Xbox. But speaking of games that are on Xbox, Sean, in fact, this game is on Game Pass. You can go play it right now for free. It's on Game
Potato.
Pass. Well, that's there too. But Persona 3 Reload, Sean.
I should have known.
That makes way more sense. It's on Game Pass. I played 2 hours of this. Persona 3, of course, one of my favorite games of all time. One of my favorite role-playing games ever. My favorite Persona game. We actually did a tier ranking on the RPG Cave this week of our favorite of all the Persona games. And this was like, Persona 3 was one of my S tier contribution to the list. I love this game. And what they did with this remake of Persona 3 is this really feels like the definitive version of Persona 3 in so many ways. It is missing some content that we got from like the re-releases of Persona 3 that happened on both the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation Portable, with, the female main character scenario, and then kind of the answer, which is kind of like this DLC that happens after the end of the game. But man, everything else about this version of the game is incredible. It looks beautiful. It plays great. Like they refined a lot of the combat. In the original game, you couldn't control your party members at all. They just did their own thing, and you kind of had to hope that they would, use the right attacks against the bosses, or would heal themselves if they got in trouble. Whereas you have full control over your party members. They re-recorded all of the music and the dialogue, and it all is very faithful to the original game. And this is like, again, another classic example, along with Resident Evil 4 or Dead Space, of like a remake done right. A remake to take a game that was stranded on an old console that is very inaccessible to a lot of people, and bringing it to modern consoles in a fresh and innovative way. And I mean, I'm only 2 hours in, so I'll definitely have more to say in the coming weeks about Persona 3 Reload. But man, I was already had very high hopes for this before coming into its release, and it just exceeded them from the moment I picked up the game, from the intro cutscene to some of the early story beats, to the way the combat plays out and the new music. Like, dude, this game is awesome. And if y'all are into turn-based role-playing games at all, and you've never played a Persona game and you've got Game Pass, like, this is the game I'm going to tell people to start with. 100%. Like, Persona 3 is a masterpiece of a game, and I can't wait to play it all over again with Persona 3 Reload. So far, it's so good. with the game so far. I know, again, for a Persona game, 2 hours in, you're still kind of scratching the surface a little bit, but this is also like a repeat playthrough of myself for the game. So, I know what to expect. And this game actually gets going a lot quicker actually than Persona 4 or 5 do, which is one of the things I always appreciated about Persona 3. And the best part is, from what we've been hearing from other people who played the game, including Matt Sawinski, who did a review for this game clocks in about 70 hours. So it's a lot shorter and much more manageable than the 120-hour experience that is Persona 5 or 100 hours of Persona 4 Golden. So I do think it's a much more manageable piece of game for people that are just new to Persona. So that's my take.
It's the second time that I've heard somebody talk about a Persona game and refer to it as being shorter immediately after talking about the literally dozens of hours, like multiple dozens of hours. You say 70 and like that's shorter, which I know relative to other experiences it is. I was reading a review in this PC Gamer, Ryan. Yeah. I've got nearby. Actually, might be in this one. I got two here. Persona 5 Tactica, which got rated very highly in this review, said something similar, like 50, 60, 70 hours, something like that. A short experience. Like, I don't, dude, that would take me a year. That'll take me forever.
That's why I preface it by saying shorter than other Persona games. Cause that's the always tough thing about recommending Persona to new people to the series, is that the games are so long that there's such a time investment that it is harder for someone who doesn't have a lot of time for games to get into some of these. So them cutting down that clock a lot while still making it a tight and concise experience, I think it does wonders for where they're going. And honestly, I hope that when we get to Persona 6 down the road, Sean, I hope it's a 40-hour game. I know a lot of Persona fans, like hardcore Persona fans, are going to scoff at that statement, but I hope that's what they do. I hope they make it a shorter game.
A short experience, just like Lockleth.
Yeah. Or build in like creative ways to like add replay value. So if you do want to invest more in the world, you just replay the game with New Game Plus or something. Like I think that's maybe the direction they should go in with Persona in the future. But there you go. Those are the games I've been playing. Although I did a little bit of side eyeing this week, Sean, on other people's Twitch streams. Well, watching some people play a little game called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Sean. And
oh yeah.
I'm just going to be very open about it. I'm kind of interested in this game. I kind of
nice.
This game.
Yeah, man. It's getting a bunch of people saying this is actually like Ed Placencia really enjoying it as far as I can tell. Mr. Babbitt really enjoying it as far as I can tell. Luke Lore, same thing. Like, and it's nice when we can look for the fun in games. So I'm still curious. I'm not buying any games, Ryan, this year. So I'm not buying that game. I don't think I even have it reserved at the library. Although maybe
I was just gonna say, if it just happened to come in at the library, Sean, maybe
let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah.
You'll check a look.
I still got to get to Gotham Knights, though. I still got to get to a few other like backlog kind of things. And
honestly, Gotham Knights might be the better play. Like it's actually like I think a pretty solid game. Like it's not bad, right? And in fact, a lot of the negative reviews for it when it came out were all like performance-based issues, which a lot of it's been patched by now. It still doesn't run at 60, but I mean, I think it plays fine at 30.
Well, I'll see if I can find it. Apparently I can book it for the PlayStation. Oh, there it is. Series X. Nice. And the great thing about this is so bad. The best thing about reserving games at the library that are available on both PlayStation and Xbox is it's way more available on Xbox. Yeah. There are nearly, there's about 50% more holds on the PlayStation copy of this. So
it's because there's dozens of us, Sean. Dozens,
I say. Yes.
Good God. But yeah, I'm interested and intrigued. Like my curiosity for that game has definitely been piqued. And especially after the experience I had with Silent Hill: The Short Message this week, where that game did not get great reviews. Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League wasn't getting good reviews, but like I had fun with Silent Hill: The Short Message, and like I can see the fun in Suicide Squad. So yeah, maybe that's just me being a hipster, Sean. A video game hipster being like, well, actually, the reviewers give games bad reviews, so I definitely have to play them and like them.
I don't even think I know what that word means anymore.
Well, actually,
no, hipster.
It's true. I mean, we're old, Sean. We use weird words, but I think now I think we'll transition, Sean, because there's no main topic this week other than your questions. Because we have a couple questions and also some final farewells I want us to get through. So let's start with Bowsah, who asked the question: who is the second best weather prognosticator, and why is it Groundhog Phil? Of course, Bowsah notes that clearly I am, in fact, the best weather prognosticator.
Prognosticator.
Yeah. Like
you're not what is
I'm
that?
Just
What is
reading it from the word? Okay.
Is that like a predictor? Like all you do is tell me what the weather is or has been. I'm not sure if is that prognosticating? Is that what that is?
I mean, that's too big of a word for me to know off the top of my head with the
prognosticator, noun, plural noun is prognosticators. A person who foretells or prophesies a future event. There are many prognosticators predicting the worst. I challenge this. I think that you've only ever told me about what the weather is or has been, Ryan.
Really? Because I can tell you what the weather's going to be like on Tuesday, Sean. Or sorry, Tuesday, because it's going to be, a high of +3. We're currently sitting at +5 here in Toronto, and it's going to, come down a little bit, heading into next week, with a low of -1 in the evening. It's going to be cloudy most of the day. There's not a high chance of precipitation. You probably no snow because, 3 degrees outside. You're probably not going to get snow. You might get, if it rains at all, Sean, it'll just be like very, very minimal rain. You're not really going to get much snow. But that's my prognostication, Sean, for Tuesday coming up here.
I'm just gonna hang out in the corner over here.
Yeah. I mean, Jan32 did tell me in the Discord I expect a full weather report this week. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a show without one. It wouldn't be a show without one, Sean. In fact, I'm actually kind of surprised because you brought this up on like this group chat we were doing. I'm surprised you haven't brought up that one city and had me try and pronounce that yet, and then tell you the weather from that city.
Oh, the in westward Wales.
Yeah.
It's very good. That weatherman's got it.
Yes, exactly.
Yarn says Sean acts uninterested, but he's gonna miss it. I don't know. There's other things to miss. Look, I'm not trying to dismiss Ryan as an entire person based on just this weather thing, but like, and the other thing people need to understand about this weather thing is that it's Ryan's way of deflecting the question, how are you doing? That's why people might have completely forgotten about this because I don't think we've talked about it in a while.
No, we talked about
why I act this way about the weather stuff is because the origins of it is me saying, hey, Ryan, how are you? And he'd say, it's raining today. And that's not what I asked. That's why I get like this.
Look, sometimes I don't want to talk about my feelings. Okay, Sean. And sometimes I'd rather just talk about the weather and how the weather's feeling.
Oh, there you go.
That's a whole thing. But to answer Bowsah's question, I would say like Punxsutawney Phil, Sean, probably the second best prognosticator when it comes to weather. I mean, haven't you seen the movie Groundhog Day? Like Punxsutawney Phil knows the weather. Like that's a thing. In fact, the best part is Bowsah brings this up, and it is technically Groundhog Day today.
Today, yeah.
Yes. In fact, there were people at my office, Sean, who were watching the AMC marathon of Groundhog Day, which was literally Groundhog Day playing over and over and over again for 24 hours straight.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. No,
they put themselves in a time loop.
Very clever. It is very clever. That's something that like a YouTube channel would do.
Right. I mean, they would. I mean, there are actually YouTube channels out there that do that. In fact, Hasbro does this with all their properties. Like there's like a G.I. Joe one, Sean, that just on infinite repeat is the first season of G.I. Joe, just over and over and over again, 24/7.
It is a dream of mine to have replays of our stuff going on Twitch, just like when we're not live streaming stuff, like just having our episodes just playing. That would be great. We have so much content. We could totally do that.
Yeah. That's something we have talked about in the past. The idea of having like a 24-hour carpool gaming channel where it's just like old videos and old podcasts and stuff.
Just running.
Or like you could have like an entire day where it's just like the roundabout or the crossroads or something. Or like special theme days where it's like all the Christmas episodes or all the Valentine's Day episodes or something. Like,
I love it. Yeah.
You could do some cool stuff with that.
We need like a TV programmer. I like this very much.
I mean, it's almost as if we need someone who works at Carpool, who also works in television, Sean, at a 24-hour station.
Although, Ryan, I need to stop airing out these ideas. I instantly regret it. because maybe we'll see a channel take up these ideas and take it up on their own.
I mean, you're making it sound like
maybe
you're
we've
making
seen
it
that in
sound
the
like
past.
someone else have done this already.
Oh my gosh, that's all
if
I'll
anything,
say about
we're
that.
taking inspiration from other people at this point. I love the fact that Bowsah in the chat chimes in and says Punxsutawney is like an hour away from me. I've met Phil in person. Everyone should watch the movie. Everyone should watch that movie. It's a great movie. Bill Murray's great. I like Bill Murray. But moving on, we got Cwaggy, who says, I'm gonna miss y'all doing this podcast together. What advice would you want to give to the new host before they start? Anything you learned from your experience in podcasting together that would be helpful to know earlier. So first of all, the first piece of advice I would give to someone hopping on is have a liberal use of the word anyways, or the show is never ending, because you will just go down the rabbit hole with so many other things. You got to use the word anyways a whole lot, because that's how we get to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Also, beware of the Silent Hill. That's another thing I would recommend.
Classic.
In case Sean decides, to get back in the car again.
Yes.
Got to beware of the Silent Hill, or else you'll lose reception, and then Sean will be disconnected from the podcast, and you'll all be very sad.
Does everybody know that the show used to be done in a car? Like, I think I just updated the podcast description, so hopefully it doesn't say that anymore for everybody, but it started in a car. Yeah.
In fact, like the first 200 episodes were in the car.
Yeah,
it was a lot. We did the car a long time, Sean.
Well, look, Ryan, I'm glad you brought it up, because here's the thing. I'm losing my mind these days. I'm so busy. I feel like I'm just like, how is there time for anything? Well, guess what I used to do? I used to do these podcasts while driving to work, or like at lunchtime. And as time has gone on, and the team has gotten bigger, and we got to accommodate other things. And apparently my cell phone reception got worse over time, which is bonkers. Like, that's
actually what killed it more than anything, was the cell phone reception. Because
it's pretty bad.
We actually got the secret sauce to work, making the live stream work from the car.
Totally.
But the problem was the cell phone reception just didn't stay the whole time.
How is that possible? What happened? But yeah, it used to be that's why they're all the drives. Like that's the thing. I don't know if this is jumping too far ahead, but I was thinking about it. Like, we now have the Nintendo Drive, we now have the PlayStation Drive, and that's all well and good. But like, this was the original one. This is the one. Shout out to Luke Lore and to Dave Moore, of course. That's where the show originated. Just a silly idea where I had a half an hour drive into work, and that's kind of where it started. But it really just, before you know it, it's carpool gaming. It's this whole thing. And, one person at a time. You and I were bringing, people on one at a time. Kato was here at some point, and Court was here at some point, and Matt was here at some point. Like, yeah, I guess maybe the advice you might give to anybody coming on board is like, it's temporary.
Jesus, Sean.
I don't deal with this stuff.
Good God. That is not the advice I would give at all. Because look how long you were stuck with me for. And, it's not like you drove me away. It's just, we had to kind of shuffle things here at Carpool. And this was just the move that made sense. I mean, it's not like I'm leaving because you scared me away or anything like that. And I don't think you're going to do that with the new host. I think you never know. You might get 800 episodes with the new host at this point, Sean.
We'll take it one step at a time. I'm kind of a pain in the ass. So
no. Sean, to be fair, Lynn, I'm just going to do the full transparency here. Podcasting with Sean every single week is awesome. I actually love podcasting with Sean every week. I mean, honestly, like, even though I do all the prep before the show, like, it's like the easiest thing in the world to just hop on a call and hang out with you, man. Like that. Same. It's always so easy and fun every week to hang out with you that, like, y'all, like, whatever host comes in next, y'all got nothing to worry about. Podcasting with Sean is amazing. And honestly, I love it so much. So there you go.
Well, we'll exactly what the show
mushy stuff later.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
You can say what you want to say if you want.
No, I'll pin it. I'll pin it.
Do that, something little pin symbol. All right. Next question or comment comes to us from the Goobla King, who said, what kind of questions were asked in the host interview process? Were the questions like, how many years of meteorology school do you have? And how many meese do you own? Sean, you did the interview process for who's coming in. So what kind of question were some of these questions part of the interview process? Like, how does this work?
There was a singular consistent question that was part of the quote unquote interview process, and it was, can you keep a secret? That was the one, probably the one and only question, in addition to, will you join? But yeah, that was the thing, because we needed to sort of sign unofficial NDAs, because we needed to let people know all the things that were changing and that Court and Matt were leaving and all this kind of stuff. So we had to kind of let the people who are not joining me, of course, I'm doing the show all by myself. I had to let them know what was going on. So that was probably the biggest thing. But as the Google King asked this question, I go, I probably should have asked more questions. I think probably could have been a bit more rigorous.
Probably, believe it or not, folks. Again, we're letting you behind the veil a little bit here. We're like, the people that we have coming in, we knew right away who we wanted for these roles, and there wasn't a long interview process. In both cases, it was very much, hey, can you keep a secret? I've got a secret, and that song, the secret song. But we didn't really have like a rigorous like interview process or anything like that. We could have done that, Sean, but we didn't, because we were like, no, we kind of like the people that we picked, so they will be fine. So. Yeah, again, you'll learn more about them next week, and I hope you love them as much as we do. But next up, we got Nagachaka, who says, first and foremost, thank you, Ryan, for everything that you've done for the Xbox Drive. The chemistry you and Sean have is S tier, but I'm looking forward to your return to the PlayStation Drive. And now my question, which game should everyone be playing tonight on Game Pass, and why is it Persona 3 Reload? I'm very surprised by this question, Sean. You want to know why?
Why?
Because Nagachaka did not say Resident Evil 2, even though it's on Game Pass, and chose Persona 3 Reload.
That is a good answer.
Yeah, because I know like there's no bigger fan of Resident Evil 2 than Nagachaka. So I'm actually kind of surprised by this. I mean, obviously you should be playing Persona 3 Reload on Game Pass. It's great. But maybe give that Brotato game.
Dude, that's literally what I was about to show you. That's on my phone. It's Brotato and Kate Console Kato. The spiciest, but what did I call her before? The sauciest potato? Spicy
potato?
I say saucy, spicy.
Well, actually, you transitioned between two. You tried both.
She's a potato. Sure. Brotato. Shout out to Brotato.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I loved, Sean, when we were getting all the people talking about Brotato this week, like everyone coming with the Sam meme of like Brotato, like having that pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love that. Now every time I hear the name Brotato, that's what I think about is the pronunciation from Samwise Gamgee of Brotato. But
Samwise.
I know. He's immortalized, Sean, in a Magic the Gathering card, Sean. I don't know if you knew that. But
I didn't know that.
Now you know it.
Now I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, there's like 3 or 4 different versions of Sam, because they have like the Sam that with like holding a pot in his hand and a sword in the other, and there's Sam with his kids, and then there's Sam like fighting Shelob. Magic the Gathering is such a great game.
Oh, that reminds me, now we've had so many people leave. We could have like our own carpool gaming Magic the Gathering. We could have like a Console Kato card. We could have a Matt Sawinski card. We could have a Garrett Bland card, and nobody who's coming that I will spoil here. That would be fun. That would be very
could be
fun.
Anyone. In fact, what we could do, Sean, is we could, print like a version of that with like the new co-hosts outline, like the Smash Brothers outline of the characters before they're announced with like question marks on them, and then hand them out to people and be like, who is this? And with like a QR code on
this is a dream of mine, like legitimately, like to have collectible cards for like the podcasting kind of like carpool gaming is. You could have like expansion packs, like it could start with us, but then you could go over to like PSVG, and I don't know, the trophy room has like 2 people.
I actually remember, Sean, I think at one
save
point,
the game
when it was just you and I on Yumi Capri, I believe that was actually one of the Patreon goals down the road.
I always wanted to do that,
because we put that up there. And also the other funny one was the other Patreon goal we made up while on the show, Sean. I don't know if you remember this, where if we make $5,000 a month on Patreon, Sean will buy his own island and then host his own survival game with Carpool Gaming hosts, which was amazing.
Yep.
I love that idea.
Because I have hosted my own reality TV show kind of challenge day, Ryan. We called it the Team Awesome Reality TV Show, aka Sean's Birthday Bash. We did it in 2006, 2007, 2008, and then the final was in 2011. And that's when Chelsea came into my life, and she's like, you got to cut that out. Like, you guys are you're coming up on 30 and you're drinking like we're just silly, Ryan. We had 5 kegs in my parents' backyard and doing drinking games. We had a game called Drinko, which is exactly what you think it is, which is Plinko. And instead of guessing the price for a product, you chugged your beer against an opponent. And if you won, you got a little Drinko, little
How
disc.
are you still alive, Sean?
We built a
know.
Plinko board. We built it. It was like 8 feet, 9 feet tall. We had little big nails in it, and it dropped down into the little slot at the bottom. It was great, man.
Sean,
a logo and everything.
I can't believe we've been doing this show for 4 years, and this is the first time you've ever told me about this.
I'm sure I've mentioned it.
No, you have never mentioned this to me before, ever.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm like, I didn't know
Drinko
the survival games were a thing, that you did like the drinking survival games.
Yeah, we had teams and everything. Like, We had the Roman Empire coming on in, Team Ireland.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, it was good stuff. Yep.
Good stuff.
Not on YouTube, thankfully.
No, I mean, you could have done like the Survivor thing though, where you had cameras everywhere. And
we did.
Oh.
We filmed all of it. There's DVDs. It's on DVDs. Yeah, we had like special collector's edition DVDs, different covers and everything, Ryan, for the different teams. It was great. It was good. We had like 6 cameras going.
I'm starting to see why she put a stop to this, Sean.
There's
the degeneracy. There's a little bit of degeneracy.
Yeah, people finished off with like Das Boot. It was a thing.
Oh my God.
All inspired by Beer Fest, that 2004 classic movie, whatever.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Beer Fest?
No, I remember coming out, but I was like, yeah, never went and saw it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. There was a lot of like weird comedies that came out around that time. Like,
sure was.
It was like around the time like Road Trip and all those movies were out. So,
yep.
Yeah.
We had a diary room too, Ryan. We had people. We had a green blanket sheet hung up in my parents' backyard, and people could go in and talk to the camera like they were on Big Brother in the diary room.
Don't you mean? And actually, do you know that the technical term for that is confessional, Sean? That's what they call it on the set of those shows.
Yeah, we had one. Yeah, we had one of those. It was amazing. Yeah,
that's actually like
months to edit afterwards.
Fun fact, Sean. Well, when I was going to school for television and I was looking at places to work, like one of my dreams was to work on a survival show, like a reality TV show like that, like work on like Hell's Kitchen, like Survivor or something like that. Like that'd be super cool to work on a show like that.
Totally.
To like go through like the hours upon days of footage and then edit all that stuff together. Like that'd be so cool, man. I'd love to do that one day. That's the dream. That's the dream one day. Sean, I'm going to bring in Jordan to kind of round things out here. This isn't a question. In fact, Jordan puts at the very beginning here, no question. Just wanted to say thank you, Ryan. I arrived a little bit late to the Xbox Drive and carpool gaming community as a whole. And Jordan outlines 2020 was when they joined the community. So Sean and yourself have been the only Xbox Drive I've ever known. I'm so happy I still get my weekly Ryan podcast fill over on the PlayStation Drive and RPG Cave. And I want to say thank you very much for everything. Shout out to you, Jordan. And shout out to everyone, by the way, with so many loving messages, both in the Discord and as well, tonight with the question posts, as well as just everyone else that's kind of reached out since this announcement came out, because, we love you in the carpool gaming community. I'm so glad that we have such a supported community, Sean, where we don't have to worry when we make a move like this one, and where there was a little bit of worry in my head, Sean, of when before announcing this, or even suggesting the idea that it might ruffle a little bit of feathers, or maybe not everyone might be okay with a move like this, but like I feel like we got the right move here, and I feel like people understand that. So I just huge shout out to everyone for being so supportive in the community. In fact, Sean, this is now where I get to reminisce a little bit, because I pulled up a sheet here. Sean, I joined the Xbox Drive September 19th, 2019 was my first episode. The episode titled The One with Ryan Turford. This was episode 105 of the Xbox Drive, which to do a short count, Sean, that's 220 episodes as of tonight of the show with me. It's kind of crazy to think about. Like I honestly didn't think it was that many episodes until I was like, I did the math. I'm like, oh, that's so many. But then I was like, oh, and then do the math even further. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did 100 episodes of like the mini episodes with the roundabout and the crossroads. So it's actually more like 320 Xbox Drive episodes, which is just crazy sauce to think about. And then, of course, review discussions, other Xbox Drive related stuff that we've done together, like, you know, whether it's us, you know, meeting up at E3 or going to go see Xbox in person, Sean. Like, those were some really special moments. We've had some really special moments on Xbox Drive. And of course, you know, before I, you know, get into this, I got to say, first of all, thank you to Sean Capri, ScheiGuy Sean, for giving me a chance, for taking a chance on someone like me and kind of changing my life forever. Like, when you gave me the first message on Twitter in my DMs, when you thought that actually I might have been out of podcasting in general because things weren't really going super well over at Game Moose at the time, and you were wondering if I was still like kind of in the podcast game, I was like, oh yeah, of course, we're having trouble scheduling right now. And you're like, oh, I might have something coming up. And when you sent me the call to be on the show, Sean, like I was so honored, but also worried at the same time, because I was like, will I be able to, you know, bring the legacy to live up to the legacy of Luke or Dave and be able to bring the energy to the show and do a great job, and will people even like me? Those were the things I worried about. But honestly, after the first couple episodes, man, I felt so welcomed by both you and this community, and honestly, being part of the show just changed my life forever, because I wouldn't be, you know, where I am today without Carpool in a lot of ways, where or even just without you, Sean, where I've met so many friends along the way, you know, when a lot of and this was all happening where at a point in my life where a lot of my real life friends were falling by the wayside, where I had a lot of friends in Toronto that all moved away, or, you know, when I kind of transitioned out of, you know, being pretty close friends with friends I had in high school, like you and the Carpool community and Bobby as well, were all there when I really needed a good group of friends. And, you know, being part of the show really helped me at a time where, you know, if I wasn't part of this show, like I don't know, you know, where I would be as far as, you know, how many people I would even talk to, or if I might just seclude myself in my room and just never talk to anyone. So I'm so proud to be part of this community. I'm so glad that we built this thing together. And even though we don't get to do this podcast every single week, which has always been the highlight of my week, just every single week, just knowing that one of my best friends in the whole wide world was going to be on the other side of the phone with me, regardless of whether we were in the car or we're at home. Like, this has been a truly special experience for me getting to be part of this. So I've never taken that for granted. And I'm so glad that you chose me to be part of this, because it could have been anyone else being in this spot. But I'm so glad it was me, man. So thank you.
It couldn't have been anybody else. It had to be you. You were perfect for this show. I was looking for something very specific, and it was Ryan Turford. And that's why episode 1 for you instantly clicked into place. You know, Luke is making just top tier content with the Xbox expansion pass. In his heart, that's what he wanted to do. And it clashed with what I wanted to do, apparently, with the Xbox Drive. I just don't know if I was really ever all that specific about it. I just knew that I was, you know, I'm a silly guy. I can be a serious person, but I liked especially where that show was. But I needed it, you know, back then, Ryan, like, gosh, how many is 200 some odd episodes? 4 years is kind of what this works out to be. So you have to remember,
like a little over 4 years, because again, September 2019, so a little over 4 years. And I mean, even it's just weird for me to think about Sean's year, which is just blows my mind too. Weird,
well,
man.
These moments are important. I'm glad that we're kind of hanging on it a little bit, because my kids are now, Lincoln will be 7 in a couple of months here, and Ellie just turned 5. So 4 years ago, I had a new baby. I had a new job at the time. You know, lots was going on around that time. And so I needed something pretty specific for the Xbox Drive. I needed it to run on time. I needed it to be done within 35 minutes, because I need to be in the door and, you know, back especially then. It was things are quite a bit different now.
100%. Like, if we weren't done by the Sean just making this up, we weren't done by the 40-minute mark, like we were just cutting off the show and
we're out. Yeah. Totally out. And that's a very specific set of parameters, you know, for a podcast. It wasn't the norm then. I don't think it is now even. We've expanded, I think, beyond since then, but especially at that time, I needed a partner that understood where I was at in my life and how I was fitting the podcast in, and you never questioned it. And that's why I needed you on the show, especially then. And then it just kind of has evolved. And, I remember in the early days too, like we've really grown, I think, as a partnership as far as like what we feel comfortable talking to each other about, and providing feedback and criticisms, and bringing ideas forward and stuff like that. Because like, I think there was maybe a nervousness to like rock the boat early. And I'm very appreciative of you, Ryan, because I know that I can be a lot. I know that I can be a loudmouth, and I have ideas. I get excited about stuff and I want to see them through. I had a birthday party in my parents' backyard with 50 or 60 people getting smashed, and we videotaped the whole thing. Like, the thing is, I know these things are possible. I think that's really where it comes from, is sometimes I have these ideas and it's like, I know it's possible because we've done at least something similar to it. And you have been there to ground me, but also to bring so many of these things to life. And like I said, I'm the loudmouth of the group, and so with that comes, I get a lot of the criticisms, but I also get a lot of the credit. But Ryan Turford deserves so much of the credit for, of course, the Xbox Drive, but having the creative idea to create the RPG cave. I haven't heard anything quite like that since. And certainly not at the time. So what Carpool Gaming is now is a lot of Ryan being there to bounce ideas off of, to make things happen. We used to have I think a title for you about being a producer of some sort.
Like when you and Bobby first brought me onto the Patreon, it was like a very specific title, and I'm blanking on what it is off the top of my head. But even like the idea of us even doing video, like at all, like that was something like I very much like pushed for when we started, and we tried all kinds of stuff to make it work in the car. And oh my god, we had so many different ideas and different setups for Sean in the car to try and capture video, and we finally landed on one that worked. But that was like, yeah, you're right, like that was something that like I remember really pushing for, because that was something that we did at Game Moose, and and that was where my passion was. I like doing videos. So that, like, the fact that we have live streams at all was like, it was tough. We might not have ever gotten there at all if that was the case.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, like we have 3 drives now. This is pretty counter to what Bobby ever would have probably wanted. Like, it's very different. He was very much against doing any sort of like, if we ran. So Bobby Pauls and I used to do a show called If We Ran Nintendo. For those who don't know, fortunately he passed away. Him and I used to talk about doing like, if we ran Xbox, if we ran PlayStation, and he did not like that approach at all. Oddly enough, that's kind of exactly what we've done here with Carpool, and having Xbox Drive, PlayStation Drive, Nintendo Drive. And so you have been there to like help me roll with the punches. It's difficult to have transitions like this. And I want to give you a lot of kudos for coming to the table with this as a very viable solution to what happened with the PlayStation Drive. I think this totally makes sense. I think it totally works. It opens up the doors for something that, people never saw coming. They knew changes were coming to the PlayStation Drive, but they didn't know what was going on with this show. And so over the years, sort of like the identity of what Carpool is slowly but surely come together, probably more slowly than any other brand on the internet. I look at like, the Lockless of the world, the Console Catos of the world, the Joe After Works of the world. Like they got it. It seems like they just get it instantly. They're
also not trying to do like 8 shows at the same time. Like we were.
It's all kudos.
Very ambitious.
But anyway, I'm a slow burn on that. And so you've been there the entire time with me. I'm stoked about the future of the PlayStation Drive. I cannot wait to hear the conversations that are going to happen over there. I'm of course going to be listening every single week. And what people can expect, I think, in the future of Carpool is just more conversation, more collaboration across the teams and everything. That seems to be something that, once Seth, Lockleth, and now Amanda have joined the Nintendo Drive, really gave us something that was different from a Nintendo Drive or from a Nintendo podcast. Mm-hmm. So just a little hints, like there's things coming that we're kind of following maybe that lead, if that's okay to say.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's perfectly okay. Not only that too, I think change is a good thing, both for us, like as individuals, but also just creatively. Like I think
creatively, for sure.
Like if we did like 300 more episodes of the show, we might just end up in a rut of, doing the same thing. In fact, we kind of did that a little bit with the show, as people have probably who have been listening for the last 6 months can tell, we've changed up the how we do this show a little bit, where it's not just cut and dry, like here's the top part where we talk about games, and then here's the news, and then here's the questions, because that's what most like the first like 150 episodes of me being on the show was like. We wanted to change things up a little bit to refresh the show a little bit, and I think like this is going to do it in a big way, and I think it's good for a change like this to happen creatively, like as individuals, because you and I both, like we've talked about it off air, like despite the fact that we both are sad about us not being able to do the podcast together, like seeing how excited both of us are about the possibilities with the new hosts and the new directions for the show. I think that gets our juices flowing creatively. And then when people see that come to life, I think people are going to feel that it's going to resonate with people. And I think that's a net positive for both shows in a lot of ways.
There's no doubt. And I'm trying to really reflect on what's happening. Like I'm definitely having a moment. And I think it's a matter, like I'm kind of like looking at like my reflection in the video here, and looking behind me, there's a square that is dedicated to Bobby. There's he had business cards, which I thought was always very sweet. Some of his memorabilia is back there, and then right next to it is a bunch of Xbox stuff. There's our Xbox Drive, Design Labs controller, and then the Forza controller is there as well. And there's these physical manifestations that are memories, actually. And it's the passing of time. I think that's mostly like you're not going anywhere. It's not like we're never going to talk again, but it's a celebration of the time that we've had together and what it represents, and the growth and the friendships. It's that stuff that's kind of like hitting me right now. Cause it's different from like Matt's leaving and he's never coming back. And I'm not dealing with that very good at all either. But with you, it's different. It's this 4-year, it's like a time capsule almost of, like I said, growth and iterations and game of the year silliness and anyways t-shirts and going on to Twitch and launching videos and bringing on new people and growing the community and all these things, man, like, and expanding the Patreon efforts and making sure that we give good value to our community and people feel welcome. Like, there's so much just wrapped up in this ball of 4 years. It's more than just, 200 episodes is impressive because not many people get to do that, but it's more than that. It's the time passage that's happened. There's so much life that has occurred for both of us and for the friends that we know within Carpool and within the community. So much has happened. So that's kind of what's hitting me right now, is this realization of time passing and experiences that have gone on.
Well said, Sean. Well said. Yeah, because because that's really like I'm flooding in my brain too. Because I'm just thinking back to even the special moments of us, getting to hang out in person and going to the Xbox event together, like how special that was, or all the little moments of us doing things together, or even just how much we've changed Carpool, or the community's changed because of us. Like, yeah, you're right. Like it's not that I'm going anywhere. In fact, this will probably not be my last episode of the Xbox Drive. I'm sure I'll be back at some point to talk about something. Just like, you're always welcome on the PlayStation Drive whenever you want to come hang out with us as well. So like, this is not going anywhere, but you're right. It's like, there's a sadness to it of us not being able to do this every week. And there were a lot of, really special moments and things that happened in our lives because we did this together.
And maybe this is as like sappy as I'll get, but it's one of those things. It's a reminder that time is passing with every moment, and to actively appreciate like what you have while you have it. I think that's a lot of what's kind of what, like, this is just such so much is going to be different next week. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. It's going to be remarkably different, and so it truly is the end of an era, having us sort of expand and I'll be here and you'll be on the PlayStation Drive. I'm still on the Nintendo Drive. So there's that too.
I'm still in the RPG cave. I'm hanging out with Garrett.
Right. Yeah. It's not a goodbye. So it's not that. It's more of just like, let's celebrate this time that we've had here and all the movements that we've made along the way. But yeah, the the never ceasing time. It just continues to go by, and things will change. And then I'm now making no sense.
This is just what
at all.
happens when we're both old, Sean, and all of the signs are pointing.
That may be what I'm dealing with.
That's what's
here
really
too.
happening here.
It's just like, oh man, yeah.
This is the podcast equivalent of gout, Sean, is what I'm referring to.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, thank you for reminding me, because I do have to take my gout medication, Ryan. But okay, 4 years of you being on the show, you were on in the Xbox. It was just the Xbox One era, right?
Yes.
The tail end of the Xbox One.
I think the One X had just come out, because like I think reviewed it at Game Moose towards the end of the run.
That's right. Yeah.
Because like it was also
you came on right after Gears 5. You came on just after Gears 5 launched.
Literally the week after it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like likewise, it also, Sean, in perspective, that was basically 3 months before the pandemic also happened.
That's crazy to think about. Yeah.
Because like I remember going to EGLX in Toronto, which was like a convention that happened in November of that year on behalf of the Xbox Drive, because I got to do an interview with one of the devs from Watch Dogs Legion, who was super nice in person, by the way. And I remember that being like the big last major thing I did before the pandemic happened. We're like, none of us expected to happen, which totally changed how we did the show too, which is weird too to think about. But
well, and we've kind of like started to focus in on like what matters. Like what are we trying to do with the show? I think it really centers on what we've done here, and the Nintendo Drive, of course, as well. Like it's about community. Like I know it just sounds like such a cliche thing to say, but it's like we're so focused on that. There are other things that kind of happen along the way, and so people can get confused about this kind of stuff, I think. But like for us, it's just we've been doing this for so long, that we kind of have settled into what matters to us. And it's about making genuine connections and talking about games that we love. And, we've kind of determined what we want to talk about, what we don't feel like we need to talk about. So maybe there's like a wisdom there, if I can be so bold to say that, is we've been doing it for long enough that we get to kind of do whatever we actually want to. And more than that, we know what it is that we want to do. So I'm hopeful that we carry that on really throughout all things at Carpool Gaming, whether hosts are brand new or seasoned vets. That is kind of where we've settled it in with like an identity at Carpool is, we're not here to copy and paste news releases that we get by email from PR and whatnot. Like we're here to talk about games that we really enjoy talking about and enjoy playing and things that we're looking forward to. So if there's something, in the future that we can really look forward to, I was thinking about this earlier today, Ryan, like you and I used to cover like really exciting things that Xbox was doing to really move the industry forward and differentiate Xbox. I'm so hopeful that in the next couple of weeks or even months, whatever it is, this year, 2024, like, can we get back to Xbox, like making moves and I don't mean $69 billion deals. Like let's talk about something cool. Let's talk about something we didn't know we wanted.
We just talked about the developer direct like 4 weeks ago, Sean. Like, come on.
That's not, but even that's not what I mean. And I'm putting over. I'm like this is a tall order, and because for whatever it was actually because I was just playing Alan Wake on PC, and these little achievements pop up that mean zero for me. Like it's Epic Games whatever achievement system, but it's like Xbox gave us the achievement system. They've given us so much. And I want to know what's next. And I don't want it to be a battle royale. I don't want it to be a games as a service thing. Like I want it to be something like that. It's, I don't know, something amazing, So hopefully with this new investment into Activision Blizzard and whatever else, like I'm kind of hoping that Xbox gets back up on the horse and does something that gets us all excited in the future.
Something to get your juices flowing. That's for sure. Cause like I came in like, at the right time, I think, for Xbox, because like before that in the Dave and Luke era, it was very much like the dark ages of the Xbox One era where there just wasn't as much. That's
when we started. It was like when Dave and I started the Xbox Drive, we were like, do we even like who does an Xbox show? It made a lot of sense. Like Podcast Beyond had been going on forever, and a lot of Nintendo shows existed, but like nobody was really doing an Xbox show back then. But then Game Pass came into play. That's how long back the Xbox Drive goes. Is we had episodes of the Xbox Drive where Game Pass wasn't a thing, and then it became a thing, and then first party games came day and date, like, you know, the Crackdowns, the Sea of Thieves, and the State of Decay 2. That's we covered those games. That was a very exciting time. So more, please.
Yeah,
Phil.
Absolutely. Yeah, more like that, please. But yeah, hopefully we get more Xbox stuff soon. I hope so. Anyways, I hope that's the direction we're trending in. As long as it's not going to the Wii U side of things, Sean. Because like trying to be a Nintendo podcast during the Wii U era, like you guys did, I'm just like, I don't know if you ever want to go back to something like that. Like
that's where you come up with a concept like if we ran Nintendo. When it's so bad, a couple of armchair quarterbacks are gonna make it all better.
Yeah. In fact, Sean, now that I think about it, I'm like, I started podcasting when the PlayStation 4 came out, which is just weird to me to think about in a sentence where it's like, oh yeah, there were still new PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games then.
Yeah.
When I was podcasting, oh my God, it's so weird to think about it. God, I'm old. Oh my God. But dude, this has been amazing. I'm so glad we did this show together, man. And I'm so excited for the future. Honestly, as I said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm excited to watch the show as a fan every single week and see where the show goes, see how the progress is with you and the new co-host. Like, I'm super jazzed to see where you guys are going to go, especially because I'm already in, like Sean knows, I'm in the chats with you and the new host. So I'm seeing all the conversations you guys are having about, you know, what's happening and the direction. And I can't wait to see it, man. So
it's going to be different, man. Everything changes. And that's not just a hype statement, but like so much is going to be different. And I'm really excited to, like you said, creatively is probably the biggest piece of it. Just it's going to challenge us all. It also, I think maybe in a way, like maybe this is a way for us to even like prep our community and the audience a little bit as well. Like it will be different. When I think when we went from Dave to Luke to you, it was like very slight iterations and just kind of like, again, like I said, we needed the show to stay on track.
Well, especially me and Luke, we have very similar mindsets when it comes to organizing a show. And so that makes sense.
This is like, we're swapping engines. Like we're going from Unity to Unreal, like, or vice versa. Like it's just it's going to look and sound quite a bit different, format wise, quite a bit different. But I hope people will trust us. We've been doing this a long time. I think we're still gonna nail it. I think there's something to be excited about. And if there's anybody out there who like listens to a lot of different gaming podcasts and they kind of go like things are kind of the samey, I feel like it's almost not possible with what's coming.
No, because likewise, PlayStation Drive is going to be just pure chaos, and I can't wait.
I cannot wait.
Oh
yes.
My God. I'll be there. But also the best part is, Sean, you somehow managed to have me leave the show before Plumbers Don't Wear Ties Definitive Edition comes out in March. And oh my God, the chaos that game is going to have on these shows. The same week of Unicorn Overlord releasing. Just, oh my God, Sean, the chaos.
Thank God we have a cave for you to live in. Holy crap. What are you even
those aren't RPGs.
About?
Well, Unicorn are Overlord.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But Plumbers Don't Wear Ties sure isn't a role-playing game. I mean, it's just a JPEG slideshow with, you know, weird sound effects. So I can't wait to, like, that's going to be a whole thing too. So yeah, like just, again, yes, the shows are going to be different, but I think it's going to be good different. And
for sure,
to Jose's point in the chat, like evolution is absolutely healthy, and I agree. So yeah, I can't wait to see what we do next, and I hope people enjoy it. I know like the people we got coming in are people that we think people are going to like a lot.
Jose in the chat asked a question that maybe others might be wondering. Has the new co-host been announced? Since I now have an Xbox, I suppose I should apply for the position. Wink, wink. The new co-host has been selected. Everything is underway. We have a weekend ahead of us to just make sure everything is, all of our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed, and also our lowercase j's are also dotted. Do not forget about those. So again, Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/carpoolgaming live is where we'll make our formal announcement. And then of course, we'll have posts on Patreon, on Twitter, in the Discord. So hopefully you won't miss it. But at the very least, if you're subscribed to the show, you'll see what happens.
You'll definitely not miss it at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's that's it. This is is this the last show before it all happens?
This is the last show before it happens, because the next show is Monday evening with RPG Cave.
There you go. So this is it. The edge of the diving board. the end of the road, as it were, or the turnoff, Ryan. This is where the thumbnail is so perfect. Is
100%
your face in Fast and the Furious.
Turn it off. It's also, a good the end of chapter 1 of Carpool Gaming. Like this is the end. This is like the last lines of the end of the book. We're about to move on to chapter 2, Sean.
I have chills. I have chills thinking about it.
Chunde.
No.
Or sorry, is it actually Chunde or Chonde? Because
that's what I said before.
Oh my god, it's. Anyways, for the last time, I'm gonna do an anyways, Sean. I think we should probably wrap up the show before we just spiral into delirium from here. So before we go, Sean, plugs go.
Please join us Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming Live for the next chapter of Carpool Gaming. Yeah, I almost gave away something there, but I'll pause on that.
You sure
Follow me on Twitter, and my gamer tag is the same on Xbox. It's Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. If you've enjoyed anything of what we do here, please head on over to patreon.com/Carpool Gaming. It keeps the boat afloat and keeps hats on our heads, Ryan. Both of us require hats, and
you don't want to see what's under this hat.
I haven't bought a new hat in forever, but I think that's all
Same here. Actually, fun fact, Sean. I think I got this hat a couple weeks before I started the show, and I've been wearing it ever since.
No, I got this hat from Toronto, where you live. So
this is my Foxhound hat from Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear.
First of all, before I say my plugs, I want to of course say huge thank you to everyone who's listened to the Xbox Drive during both my tenure, but also Dave and Luke's. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed, who's commented on any of the videos, who's interacted with us in the Discord, who's had nice things to say. I mean, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, even, or any of the times we record the show, but I'm so glad you chose to be here with us on Xbox Drive. I know that, things are changing, but I also think it's going to be a great change, and I hope you guys enjoy the show going forward. As for me, you can always find me on the old Twitter. I'm not going to say X this time, Sean. I'm going to say the old Twitter, at Ryan Turford. You can also find us on Twitter at Carpool Gaming, right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming. Of course, podcast services around the globe. And you can also find me on Xbox Live, Sean, at Mirage3160, in case you feel like following me there. And I'm fresh_obsessed over on the PlayStation Network. So there you go. I think that's the first time I've ever put that out there. Sean, do you get that reference, by the way? It's a very Canadian reference.
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, so there used to be a grocery store in Canada called A&P. And their slogan was, "We're fresh obsessed." And I was like, oh, well, that's a great name. Why don't I just start calling me that? And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, that's really weird. But I'm not changing my PlayStation name now. So that's just what it's going to be. So there you go. So huge thank you to everyone for listening to the show for one last time. That's Sean Capri. I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 325 of the Xbox Drive. And we out.
I was really tempted to give away all the things that were going to happen and see if anybody was paying attention at the very end of the show, but I'm definitely not going to do that. This is the very last time that we're ever doing anything like this. There's not going to be any screaming on the next show. Okay, bye-bye.
No power greater than X.